All right, so we're going to kick things off talking about Amazon ranking factors, and the objective here is really to take everything that we've learnt, everything that we've learnt through experience, also everything we've learnt by staying up to date on different theories, different blog posts, people around the web have been publishing, and put our spin on it. And at the end, we've got a checklist which you're going to be able to use to kind of go down, look at your own listings, and say, have I done this? Have I done this? Am I taking care of this? Okay, and all this will be available for download in the members area. This whole sort of presentation was inspired actually by something that Patrick linked to on the Facebook page, a ranking factors list from feedbacks. But this is definitely our own take on it. So the first thing that you have to think about is, what is it that Amazon wants? Because this is what's guiding all their decisions in their algorithm for the rankings. And unsurprisingly, they want to make as much money as possible, but they want to do it in a sustainable way. Do you want me to lift those slides up a little bit? Yeah? Is that better?
That's a lot better.
Okay. So yeah, Amazon wants to make as much money as possible, but they want to do it in a sustainable way. So they want to make sure that people are actually getting good service as well, the end user, the customers who use Amazon, so that they're going to keep using it over and over again. And it really comes down to the way that they make money is revenue, which is the number of products sold times the sale price. That's the simple formula that drives the whole of Amazon's algorithm, essentially. And we've got a list of 26 factors. They're not necessarily in order of importance, and we're just going to work through them now. And as Steve said, after the break, we're going to do walk through doing an overhaul of an Amazon listing as well, and this will all kind of tie into that, I hope. So click-through rate is the first thing, and that's absolutely huge. Click-through rate drives is one of the biggest factors in how you're going to rank in Amazon, and we see this all the time. People change an image, people change their title, and their ranking plummets or it goes down, okay, or goes up. This is the number of people who click on your listing in Amazon's search results. Okay, and there's 4 things that make people click through. So there's 4 different factors that you can really control that make people click through, and we're going to look at them and see how you can sort of improve each one. So the first is the quantity and the rating of your reviews. Now, it's not the review itself that is the most important thing. The actual review itself does have some sort of weight in Amazon's sort of ranking system, but the thing that has more weight is the social proof. And we've seen over and over again, and those of you who have got products up and running, you would have seen it as well, that you hit something like 15 reviews, 15 good reviews, you start getting more momentum. You hit 50, that's kind of like another sort of invisible threshold. You hit 50 good quality reviews and your sales sometimes go up another gear as well, and you get more and more sales. So it's mainly about the social proof that these reviews bring. And when you've got 5-star reviews, it's obviously not as compelling as 50 5-star reviews in terms of your credibility. Okay, it's all about that social proof. What we've seen is when we get to about 50 reviews, sales do seem to go up a notch as well. You get better rankings, and some of that is just to do with people are clicking through because they see you as an established product amongst all the other products that are out there on Amazon. You can have too many reviews though. If all your competitors have got 100 and you've got 3,000, it may not look all that natural, and it may have an adverse effect and actually harm you, do more harm than good. But that's probably a problem that most people won't have. So is the review score more important, or is it the quantity? It's a little bit of both. Like this one down here, you may not be able to see it, but it's got a 5-star ranking, but it's only had 7 reviews. This one here has got 4.5 stars, so the rating is not as good, but it's had 32 reviews. If I'm a customer, that one's probably the more established one because this just doesn't really have much going on. And then this has got 125 reviews, but it's 4-star. So which of these two is more attractive? That's really the question that you have to answer.
The bigger question is, what in God's name are you searching for?
Dog collars.
What the hell?
Dog collars. Studded dog collars. I don't have a dog. Yeah. Studded dog collars.
Okay, all right.
Moving on.
Talk about that later.
Moving on. So how many reviews do you actually need? One way to look at it is to add up the number of reviews that the top 5 selling products for your search term, studded dog collars, have, and then take an average. So here, these are all the rankings, all the products that appear on the first page for studded dog collar, and the 5 products that have the most reviews. These are the number of reviews that they've got: 348, 125, 100, 87, 78. One way to look at that magic number that you're going to get to is to take an average of these top 5, and that should be more like a long-term goal in many cases. You don't need to get that early on to do a lot of sales, but if you look at that, that's probably where you're going to get the peak in social proof. And again, so the average of this is 147. Again, these are not exact rules. These are kind of guidelines that we use to sort of set goals for our products.
Has anybody, just out of curiosity, has anybody seen, a direct correlation to some big change in the number of reviews and either sales or ranking or anything like that? I mean, it's hard to quantify that, I know, but does anybody have any anecdotal sort of evidence? We got one.
Yeah, when we first did our brushes, we weren't getting any sales, and they were up for like 10 days.
Right.
Then we put some reviews up, and suddenly the sales came. As soon as we hit 15, there was a run.
Right. So you saw that tipping point.
Yeah. How about when you got to 50?
Yeah, I haven't got there yet.
Ah, okay.
I'm not sure, maybe it's...
But you've got a lot of different products, so yeah. Yeah.
Just curious.
How about you guys? What sort of review numbers have you got? Have you in the hundreds or?
It's different. We have one product that have like
380.
Yeah, that's a big.
380, yeah.
Yeah, but that one actually, once you get to that point, like a negative review, I mean, it doesn't really affect our
Yeah,
sales
that's a good
anymore.
point.
And I think too, compared to our competition, some of our competition have thousands.
Yeah.
But ours is the most like natural because we haven't done anything to give away, so you don't see.
Do you remember?
Given away.
Do you remember when you were launching those products? If you hit that sort of 50 mark, or if it round about there at some point, things took off, or?
I think so, but I mean, we also got sales immediately. I mean, I only had 2 reviews, and then I turned on the Amazon ads, and then I think at that time we didn't have hardly any competition, and we set ourselves apart.
The interesting thing that you said, which I haven't got in here, is that when you've got so many reviews, 1 negative or 2 negative, it barely even gives you a dent. It doesn't really have that negative impact anymore. Whereas 1 negative review, if you've got just 10 or 15 reviews, it can hurt your sales big time.
It depends on what that negative review is.
Yeah.
A negative review can actually help, especially
if it's constructive or depending how it's written.
A negative review is someone's clearly got no idea, but he's slagging you off because of late delivery, because of UPS. That actually helps, I find.
Yeah.
I mean, some people actually commented on those reviews themselves before visiting their list. One of my customers had a go at something and said, well, where's your review as a product? Yeah. How do you feel about that? Why are you slagging them off because you're a local person? So
Sounds like you've got some raving fans in there now. Yeah. And the only time when a negative review would definitely hurt you is when you're just starting out, and it might drop your average from 5 stars down to 3.5 because people might not even click on it in the first place. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
I would think the other place though that it hurts, at least again, this has been our experience too, is even when you reach this point where you've got say 150 reviews and a bad review doesn't hurt your overall score. If it's the first review that shows up, right, then so until it gets buried, again, it absolutely has a negative impact. But then it doesn't really any longer.
So what rating should you aim for? Obviously 5, but above 4.5 stars is good to go. I think everyone realizes that if you've got 4.5 stars, you're not a bad product. If you go below this, then you're starting to miss out on sales. If you've got 4 stars or lower, you're starting to miss out on sales. So you really have to do whatever it takes to maintain that 4.5 star threshold. And we want a mixture of quantity and quality. It's not just about one or the other. The second major ranking factor is the product image. And it's a ranking factor not because of the image itself, but because it impacts your conversion rate, your click-through rate from Amazon. So customers use the images that appear to kind of do a pre-filter and determine if what you've got is what they're actually looking for. To determine if it's the right variation as well, and to pre-filter and eliminate inferior products that they're not interested in. And this is not just, this is the main product image, but we'll talk about the other images soon as well because they're also important. Some vendors try different things on the images, like badges, premium quality badge slapped on the image, or flags. I know Greg had a Made in USA flag on his product, and that's a good use, I think, of these little images that you can put on top of your image, and we'll give you examples of these. Others have like a picture of their dog collar or whatever, and then they'll have some tiny little thing there that says other free bonus gifts. For me, the most part, this just makes the images look untidy and not so premium. So unless you are selling a product like Greg, where you really want to emphasize the fact that it is made in the United States, I would say just eliminate all that. Those little gold round badges that say #1 in quality, so on and so forth. I just don't think they give a premium image, and for the most part, people can't actually read them. Romy?
Are they actually legal with Amazon?
I don't know. I think it's a grey area. Like, I haven't seen Amazon ever take those things down, but they do say that your image should be just a clear image of your product. Michael?
And for those selling in Germany, I don't know if that's becoming a European law, but if you put a product, let's say you have line of products, they are pencils, for instance.
Yeah.
And they put it on in the environment where you paint. Yeah? It's no longer allowed to put that environment in the back. Or if you're selling garden equipment, you have a garden stool sitting there. You're no longer allowed to have that in the image because you could create some confusion in the minds of the customers that the stool is maybe with.
Yeah.
And you can get once again sued for that.
You Europeans have way too much freaking time in your hands. That's all I was going to say. Your legislature is just like got a lot going on.
But that's something that might come into play when selling in Europe.
Yeah. Here's an example of what I was talking about. Like this wee little badge that you can see in with the image versus this here. This is just a crisp, clear, high quality image. Make sure it's got those dimensions. I think it's 1000 by 1000 pixels. And it's using point to point the whole size. So for me, I'd rather have that than this plus this plus this. It just looks more premium. Make sure it's well focused, a nice crisp image. Here's an example of one product where they actually have got several other things and they're showing them all in the image. In that case, it's okay because there are other products that actually come with that main product. So it's not like they're just slapping some badge on there or something. And yeah, it's just really important to use all the space you have available to make your image look as crisp and clear as you can.
Just real quickly on the images, one thing that I'm going to talk about a toolbox for basically what the chief marketing officer of your company, which is you for the most part, should be doing. And we're sitting here talking about how important the image is for obviously for conversion rate once they get to your listing, but also, as Aidan's alluding to, for click-through rate, which is a huge issue, right? So, but the question is, okay, well, how do you know whether you've got the right image? Because it's really hard. You can't get a click-through rate metric, okay, directly. So one of the things that I'm sort of adding in my mind to the toolbox, and I want to work with you guys on, is the way to do that. I think is first get your rankings to the first page ish for all your keywords, and then you'll have some consistent traffic. Okay. So imagine you've got your 3 keywords and you've got your listing on the first page or the top of the second page. You're getting consistently X amount of visitors per week. Then you can experiment with your main image that shows up in the search listings, right? You can swap it out and you can do some A/B testing. So this is kind of that next level of detail, which could make all the difference.
Yep.
Because if you just get a small increase in click-through rate, it's huge, right? So, but you have to have some consistent traffic in order to test it because that metric doesn't exist. So you have to back your way into it.
And by the way, the click-through rate on the first page of Amazon is where, on the Amazon results page, that's where you can make the biggest difference, because if you make a 10% difference there, that flows right through. Absolutely. Whereas if you only make a 10% difference by changing something in your description, it's much, much less of a difference because it's less people.
Yeah.
So, product title, a good product title will increase your click-through rate. And I think for me, the product title is probably the thing that has the biggest impact on your rankings for your keywords. So you want to have your keyword in that product title. People skim product titles looking for keywords. They don't necessarily read every single keyword, every single word in that title. Amazon's robots do read product titles looking for relevancy, but this is probably secondary to the click-through rate importance. What we see all the time is people, and we'll talk more about this, but Amazon marketers like us oftentimes write their listings and write their product titles for the Amazon robots, but it's humans that are searching. And writing for the humans is how you get a much better, much better result. So keep that in mind. We're not fans of the big, long titles. In fact, nowadays, if you're launching a new product, you won't get away with it because Amazon will put a critical warning saying your title's too long. Okay, so Amazon only shows 2 lines anyway, so if it is really long, it's not all going to be there. We prefer shorter titles, not long keyword stuff titles, just clean, clear, get to the point, tell people what it is. Okay. Brand name. Ideally, you should make your brand name niche specific. Okay. Now, if you're selling in all kinds of different niches, this can be complicated. But Amazon will oftentimes let you have multiple accounts. All you have to do is ask them. If you say, look, I'm selling some cufflinks over here and I'm selling some gardening knee pads. I want to sell some gardening knee pads. If you can explain to them logically, they'll oftentimes let you open a second account. We've seen this. And it would probably be worth doing because if you can get that brand name that... obviously, you can set different brand names. I'm thinking about the whole sort of flow with like Feedback Genius. You can only have one, brand in there. If you're buying a cheese grater, would you rather buy it from Kitchen Pro or 5-Star Imports? You're going to think Kitchen Pro is much more relevant and related. So if you can, try to create new Amazon accounts for each brand if you're thinking about doing several products in that brand. Okay, it'll be worth it in the long run.
There's one more thing though that impacts click-through rate.
Yeah.
Price. I mean,
Yep.
people do decide to click on something based on price.
Yep.
And just out of curiosity, because I'm going to talk about price, how many people have experimented with different price points, and so they're confident that the price point they have makes them the most money? 2. Yeah.
It's huge.
3. It's a huge big deal. Yeah. So, but this is again part of this whole sort of common thread here of this weekend. That is some of the stuff that nobody's doing, okay, or at least very, very small number of people, and it's that extra 80% of the work, the real low-level detail stuff that could have enormous impact.
Well, we were talking with Lionel a couple of days ago, and we saw the example where you raised your price and conversions tanked, and you lost. I mean, your traffic just went down.
Yeah.
But we were able to pinpoint the only change that had been made was the price, and it majorly affected your conversions.
Yeah.
So,
And significant.
Yeah.
and not just the price, but you can also change the list price as well. So that's something else to think about. So they are some ideas about click-through rate. The next thing is conversion rate. This is the percentage of people who go to your listing and then end up buying your product. And Amazon watch it very, very carefully. So overall product listing optimization. This is kind of like the sort of overall thing, like the bullet points you've got, the description, the category that you're in, the other images that you've got, not just the main image, but all those other ones as well. This is kind of like the big picture. We often see people that try to get a bit too clever in the descriptions, and they end up doing themselves a bit of a disservice. The description, the bullet points, the other images are really to reinforce what the customer is expecting to see. They've clicked on you to get to see more of your listing because they're interested in you for some reason. Now it's time to reinforce that. Talk about what size variations you've got, what color variations you've got, the dimensions, the weight. Okay, don't get too clever necessarily with the words you use and all that. Another thing which we're going to mention at some point, Amazon have very, very clearly said that people do not scroll down and read the description. Very few people scroll on Amazon. So the bullet points is really where you're going to be wanting to spend most of your effort, because people just don't scroll down. If it's a more expensive product, they probably will. But a lot of people will not get right down to the description until they're at the point where they actually want to buy, and they just want to maybe check out what else is going on there. But in that initial sort of filter, they don't get down to the description. And Amazon have come out and said that. One of our contacts was actually at had meetings with Amazon at their warehouse. I think it was in Detroit or something. Anyway, and he had meetings with them, and they told him this. Like, it's a fact.
So
Chris,
people are looking at that. People are looking at the review score,
Yep.
and they're looking at the bullets, and they're looking at the price, and they're looking at the add to cart button.
Yeah, they're looking at what you see on your screen when you first open it up without scrolling down below the fold, is what it's called.
Somebody had a question.
Yeah, you said bullets. It's not the bullets actually on the description page. You're referring to the bullets that you put into the default boxes.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yep. Confirm your product specifications. Give more details about those specifications, okay? And reinforce what the customer is expecting and hoping to see. Number 6, people and benefit focused. Amazon can't really track this metric, but the impact on conversion rate is huge. We mentioned it a moment ago, you're selling to human beings, and humans will read what you write, especially at the top of your listing. So write for the humans, not the robots. Write professionally. Make sure you've got the correct spellings. Like if you're in the UK versus US, a lot of the spellings are going to be different. And focus on the benefits. This is something that you can use in all your sales and all your marketing, whatever you're doing. A lot of people focus on the features of a product. So one feature of this little thing here is this little remote control that I've got is the grip on the back. So it's got a nice grip, right? That's a feature. The benefit is saying it's got nice grip so that it won't fall out of your hand. The benefit is that it's not going to fall out of my hand. Okay? So when you're writing your description, an easy way to take the features of your product, like that little grip on the back, is just to add "so" to the end of the sentence. So includes an extension called "so that you can benefit." Extra padding so that you don't hurt your knees. So when you add "so" to the end of a sentence, that's when you can get to the benefit. So free of BPA toxins so that you don't die, or whatever. Okay, but
That's a big benefit right there.
yeah, but add on "so" to the end of your features, and you'll turn it quickly into a powerful benefit. And that's what people respond to. People care about how it's going to improve their life. They don't actually care about the grip. They care about what that grip is going to do for them.
I can see that studded dog collar improving my life. Just great.
Yeah, I don't know what the benefit would be for that. Right?
I don't know. Well, Carolina left the room.
Yeah. Sales history. Amazon keeps track of your historic sales. Amazon knows the amount of products that you're selling over time. That's why when you become a mature vendor and you've been selling for a long time, sometimes it's a little bit easier because Amazon have got that history. And Amazon adds a score or some kind of weighting to the past sales, the past performance of your product. That's like, if anyone here has ever ran out of stock and you've got no stock and you're not selling for 2 weeks and then you put it back up, you jump right back to where you were before. That's because Amazon remembers your history. The key metrics that Amazon track over time are the total revenue, your click-through rates and conversions, and Amazon also tracks the growth rates in chunks of time as well. So, have you been a hot seller? Have you been a #1 new release? These type of badges that Amazon gives, they remember these types of things. Okay. They look at revenue from past 7, 14, 30 days, and they also use that in how they're ranking you. It's not really surprising. It's common sense. Amazon is going to make more money when they've got a really good product that's selling like crazy. And if a new product comes out and it bursts onto the scene, it can get to the top of Amazon quite quickly. It's not like Google where you've got to go out and do all this stuff in the background. Amazon rewards good quality products, but it's going to be harder to overtake someone who's got a long established reputation on Amazon. You can do it, but it's going to take a little bit longer because Amazon is also giving them some reward for their longevity and their history. And again, that's why you can bounce back when you run out of inventory. Steady improvements to your sales and revenue over time will improve this metric. That's not something that you just work on from one day to the next, but by making one tweak, you can have a big impact. So changing the main photo, changing the listing title, for example. Refund rate. Amazon obviously watches this. It's more to do with customer satisfaction than revenue for Amazon at this point. Amazon wants customers to be happy. They want them to have a good buying experience, so they come back and use Amazon again. And if they're getting crappy products, that don't do the job, then that's bad for Amazon because people are going to think Amazon's full of crappy products. So they reward good quality products that don't have many refunds. And it wouldn't surprise me if Amazon did give some kind of point reduction to your overall ranking score for every refund that you get, or in proportion to your total sales. It would also make sense. You need to think about what causes the refunds. That's the best way to really tackle the problem. And the #1 reason is just a substandard product. So maybe you were limited in what your supplier could give you, and it was just inferior. And we had an example recently where someone was getting samples, and the stitching on the samples just looked really bad. It was like it was some kind of bag or something, and it had stitching on it, but the stitching looked like someone had just been doing it by hand, could have been a kid, you know, and it just looked really substandard. And you can't release products like that because it's going to hurt you in the long run. In the short run as well. It's also about expectation management. So if your photos are awesome, then your product better be the same standard. And if you are talking about how great your product is and then it just doesn't perform, you've set the bar, you've set the expectations up here, and you're giving a product like this, you're going to get refunds. Refunds can also be avoided by having proactive support in place. So making sure your customers know how to contact you, making sure they know that they can contact you without being afraid. It's not going to destroy their relationship with you. It's not going to, you're not going to get into a big fight with them. You're just going to help them do whatever can be done to solve their problem. So also focus on making little improvements to your products over time. This is something that Barbie does, our manager for our Amazon products, every single day. And she's doing this all the time. She's working on, this grip is not quite working, or it's tearing after some use. Let's look at a different one, that kind of thing. And all these little improvements add up over time.
I think the key is that what Barbie tries to do is every single time there's a reorder,
Yep.
She's constantly evaluating what changes do we need to make based on customer feedback, because that's when you start to hear what's working and what's not working. So I think that's a big deal. The other thing about refunds that we've seen, which is, I don't know how we can improve this, well, one way, but sizes and colors are a bit of an issue. So when we started to have products that have different sizes and colors, the refund rate, unsurprisingly, starts to go up.
Yep.
How many people have stuff with either sizes or colors? Okay, so quite a few. Have you guys had that same experience where, it's a little bit higher refund rate than other products? So the only thing that colors are hard, other than trying to show them all, in some really effective way, so they really know exactly what the color is, which is kind of difficult with pictures. And then for sizing, I know that one of the changes that we made is we had a rather generic sizing chart at first, and we were getting what I think was probably some pretty unacceptable refund rates. We moved to, Barbie found a much more sort of granular sizing chart.
Yep.
I forget if it was from the manufacturer.
I'm not sure.
Probably was. Or maybe she even made it. But, that helped quite a bit. And I think we actually added some in-between sizes, too.
Yeah. Instead of just having small, medium, large, all of a sudden we had these other little ones in there. And
so that's something you can think about if you're getting into some issues where you're getting refund rates that are too high for sizes.
Yeah. It's worth the extra
because
effort.
it's really a big deal. If it starts having a pretty negative impact.
Yep.
So, did you guys have anybody have any other suggestions on that?
Most of our refunds we're able to avoid because we have the email systems that go out. And
Right.
we put little flyers on them. If you need a new size or you want a different color, just contact us.
So we
And we just take care of them on the side so it never goes through Amazon. They contact us directly, and then we'll send them the replacement, and they send us back
Okay.
the old one.
We should do that.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that. So did everybody hear that? That's a big deal, I think. So one of the solutions is in the emails that go out, make sure that people understand, hey, if you got the wrong size, just contact us, and do you just give it to them, or do you expect them to return the other one?
Well, we give them a prepaid package to send us back the old one.
Gotcha.
In the package with the new one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty effective way to do it. Then you'll avoid the refund to begin with.
And you've also got the product insert as well, which
Yeah, so the insert on the front, thank you for your purchase, all that, and then on the back, in big bold, do you need a different size or do you need something?
And it actually has helped us because people love that. They're easy to work. I mean, we get it in the reviews.
Right.
that-
They'll put it in the review.
Yeah.
Had a problem contacting them, they send me a new one right away.
And do you look for emails from people, or do you have them call you?
Just email.
Emails. Okay. So send me an email if you got the wrong size, and give me the information, and then there you go. That's something that we should probably do. Jake, do you have something about refunds?
Yeah, because of my products I've got both variables, I've actually listed different colours as a separate product, so the only variable they can choose with is the size, so specifically what colour they're actually receiving.
Right.
And it's a separate listing for it. And it also helps with reviews. So if I've got one colour that absolutely tanks and people don't like, then it gets less reviews than the colour that's actually the top seller.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So that's another way to go, is rather than have them as, whatever that relationship is, where they're the same product, it's like, parent-child, you can just make them separate
I've
products.
just done the parent-child as a
Different.
size.
Yeah. Cool. All right, that's good advice. Both those things are good advice. We should definitely do that.
Yeah. The main thing is just making sure that your and it all falls under this. Make sure your customers know that they can easily contact you if they've got any problem at all. And product inserts, emails. Age of product listing. This is a little bit like the history that Amazon looks at as well. It's hard to know how much of a difference this one makes because the age factor. Is the age making the difference, or is the difference made by the fact you've had an accumulation of sales over a long period of time? It's hard to tell, but wouldn't surprise us if it's part of the algorithm. There's not much you can really do about it, so there's not much reason to worry about it. Just understand that a product that's been around for a long time, if you can't figure out why you can't overtake them, that could be a small part of the puzzle. And there's 26 things that we're talking about here. Some are bigger than others, but they all add up. And if you just focus little by little on improving each one, it goes a long way in the end. And this is the same sort of thing. So total historic sales revenue. Again, just speculation, but it makes total sense. Total sales revenue over time is being recorded on a per product basis, but also per account as well. So your whole account is able to build up history with Amazon. Internal referral path. This is how people find your product, and it's a big part of how Amazon determines where you should rank for your keyword. Amazon directly combines this data with your click-through rate and your conversion rate. So it's all intertwined in the algorithm. Again, there's only so much you can really do to impact this over a long period of time, but there are some things you can do. Super URLs, up until now, we have known that they have definitely, without any shadow of doubt, had an impact. There's always rumors, there's always speculation floating around that the super URL doesn't do anything, but in all our testing, and we've done a lot of it, it does make a difference. How long it's going to make a difference for, I don't know, but as far as we know, it does still seem to make a difference. But you know what's even better than the super URL, if you're giving products away or anything like that, is to ask your buyers to go to Amazon, search for your product, and actually find it. Because that's the way that you replicate a real search. If you give someone a long search string, Amazon is not stupid. They know that they've just put in a long search string. But if you can get someone to go and search for your red dog collar, look out for your brand name, and then buy that one, it's much, much better. It helps you much more in terms of moving you up the rankings. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, if you've got a feedback genius or some kind of follow-up sequence, or you've got an email list with Aweber of your VIP customers or something like that, you can walk people through these steps. So if you launch a new studded dog collar, continue with that example, you can say to people, look, we've just launched this new product. Here's what it looks like. Put an image there. You could say, our brand is brand A, for example. Just go to Amazon, type in this keyword, you'll find us on the 5th page, and here's the coupon. Type it in. So it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's not as easy as just giving someone a super URL, but if you can get people to go and actually search for it and find it, you'll get better rankings because of it, because Amazon knows that the super URLs are just kind of faked, but they still seem to give some benefit.
Anybody have any more information on that? Like, anybody heard anything more interesting
Lionel?
about super URLs?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I first started, I used to give people the keyword.
Right.
And ask them to put that in.
Yep.
To go to find my product. I used to give them a picture of the product. And but now, on data, I've been using the super URL.
Yeah. So the first way you did it, we found it to be more effective.
Best way, yeah.
Yeah. Because
we got the rankings.
yeah.
Most people really like to go type
Yeah.
the keyword, yeah.
I wonder if there isn't, well, I know there's a way, to create, sort of a very sophisticated redirect, right? So, in other words, have the computer mimic someone doing the searches.
There is one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
There would have to be. I mean, it's just...
It includes the Amazon timestamp in the URL.
But the thing is, like now they are very against it with the new terms and conditions. They are happy if you use the natural super URL that Amazon gives, but if you fake it anyhow with the timestamp, they are really cracking that down. So
But I'm actually talking about having a robot
This is what it is.
do the search for you.
Oh, okay.
So which is impossible to detect, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Like the page fills itself out.
sophisticated screen scraping
Yeah.
methodology. You get a redirect, and there's some kind of JavaScript or program that actually mimics a human typing in, studded dog collar, going to page 2, and finding, the one that you're interested in.
Then if you're running that on your server, for example, everyone you give the URL to is going to be accessing Amazon from the same IP address. You're going to need proxies and things as well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Depends on how you implement it. But anyway, something to consider. But I've not heard anything that tells me specifically that using super URLs is not effective. I mean, it's all just rumor and innuendo at this point. I've not heard anything definitive from any definitive source that says, that there's a problem doing it, or that it doesn't have the positive impact that we think it does. So.
The other thing, when you get friends and family to buy your products, and I know some of you in this room as well have been like using each other to buy products, and you should think about that in the breaks for networking, because there's people from all over the world here. But when you get friends and family to buy the product, if possible, get them to buy it full price, because Amazon definitely gives more ranking juice to products that are purchased at full price as opposed to products that have been given away for free or for $1, and then just reimburse them. If you want to. Is that what you guys do? Yeah. And then product reviews. So as mentioned earlier, it's more about the social proof than the actual review itself. However, every new review still adds some kind of ranking juice to your listing. Not all reviews are created equal though. If you're working on matching your competitors' reviews, then try to compare apples with apples. What type of reviews do they have? Do they all have one-line reviews, or do they have big, long reviews? Do they have video reviews? Do they have photo reviews? What's the review velocity? So are you getting from 0 to 100 reviews in 1 week? And is that kind of natural for your brand? If you've got other products in your brand, maybe that is natural. But if it's your first ever product, brand new account, I don't know, maybe that's unnatural review velocity for Amazon. For most people, this is not going to be too much of an issue, but something that we've seen on some of our products is these people, we don't know them, we don't know where they come from, but they come in, they take really nice photos, as if they're like professional photographer or something, of them using our products. And they put them on there, and they go into like an intricate detail of how awesome the products are. And these kind of things, I mean, they end up being the top reviews because people vote for them. It's like an extension of our listing. It's someone else endorsing us. And again, they're hard to replicate. But if you've got a family or a friend or someone like that, you could get them, to say, would you mind taking a photo? I mean, help them do it if you have to. But those kind of reviews, video reviews, I think you can have like 1 or 2 video reviews per product kind of featured there. But yeah, not all reviews are created.
One way you can replicate that, and it's one of the things that's in the toolbox that we'll talk about later, is you can look at your competitors. And if they have somebody who's done one of these, unboxing kind of reviews or whatever the hell you want to call it, somebody who obviously has a lot of free time, you can reach out to those people. If it's appropriate, you have to sort of see, if they're like all of a sudden like some kind of ambassador for the other guy's brand or whatever, then maybe you don't want to do that. However, I'm sure you can figure that out from context and stuff. But you could go to them and say, listen, I noticed you gave a great review to this product. I'd love you to review our product here. And obviously you're going to give it to them for free.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a method that Chris Molnar, who couldn't be here, but he's used that a lot, specifically reaching out to people who have got a YouTube channel or a blog about the product and saying, we'd love you to try our product out. People love getting the free product. They don't get free product very often. So manually reaching out to these people, hunting them down, reaching out to them, and then guiding them on what you want in your review.
Again, the theme is this is what 90% of people, 95% of people do not do. So, with the competition that's out there and all that kind of stuff, this is what's going to kind of separate you from the pack.
Yep.
I don't one question. Have you tested this? Is it better to get a bunch of reviews quickly?
I think it's fine to get a bunch of reviews quickly.
Days, or do you spread?
If you've got, if you can get them quickly, I would get them quickly. But it's just like you don't want to go to the extreme doing it. So a brand new product, I probably wouldn't get 100 reviews in 1 week. I just think it's a bit too much. I'd rather grow a little bit slower, be safer. Because Amazon, especially if you're using some kind of review club, Amazon's really coming down hard on those. So, in saying that though, if you've got, one thing that we do, and this is the value of having this whole VIP club built around your product, is we can send out an email to a small segment, if we want, of our VIP club, or we can send them out emails individually, manually, and give away products, or we can, give them discounts. And when we launch new products, we really leverage that so we can race to as many reviews as we want, really. So we kind of, sort of roll that out over time, not all at once. We've mentioned the first tipping point, 15 reviews. Social proof takes a leap. Amazon relaxes the algorithm a little bit. So there's a great analogy I read somewhere about when you're selling on Amazon, it's kind of like you're a new kid in primary school. You're a new kid in school. Once you get 15 reviews, Amazon kind of opens the gates to a little bit bigger playground and you get more access. And then the second tipping point, you get 50 reviews, Amazon opens the gates a little bit more, and so now you've got like the whole value of all those reviews. So the first one, 15 reviews, that's one tipping point. 50 reviews, again, it's probably different. It would make sense that it's different from product to product, because if the average for your products and your particular niche, if the average number of reviews is like 1,000, then maybe 50 is not the second tipping point. But there is a second tipping point. At least that's what we've seen. Review length, again, not just about the length, but about the balance of all your reviews. Are they all one-liners? Are they all long? If all your reviews are 1,000 words, that also doesn't look natural. Amazon is watching, recording, and monitoring your review growth. Longer reviews can include more words. I'm not sure if Amazon actually includes the reviews in their algorithm or not, but you're getting more words on a page as well. The rank of the reviewer. So each reviewer, everyone that buys on Amazon and leaves a review, has a rank. And so not all reviewers are created equal. Some reviewers have more credibility than others. Okay? And you can see here, reviewer rank 5 million. They've done 5 reviews. This guy has a reviewer rank of 8.9 million. They've only done 1 review. So Amazon is, it's logical, right? They're probably going to put more weight on this guy. And this guy is not a very experienced reviewer, but you get the idea. They definitely trust some people more than others. Total votes on your reviews. So you can vote that a review is helpful. These probably have some kind of impact, some minuscule impact, but since the votes can easily be manipulated, Amazon are probably well aware of that as well. We've spoken about this one, customer videos and images. This is a review that's got a video in it. They can be much more comprehensive. It's harder to game the system with these ones because a human actually has to do it. So Amazon knows it's easy to manipulate reviews, but these kind of reviews are not as easy to manipulate. So they're more valuable. Customer questions and the answers that go with them. We've seen this over and over again. When people ask a question and you give, and the seller comes in and gives a thorough response, it improves your conversions. I mean, we were speaking to Kate in Australia, and this is something a year ago that she was doing every single, she was looking to get more questions, and a lot of people contacted Kate and said that they were purchasing because of the question and answer, and seeing that, yes, there is actually someone behind this brand. Yes, I will get customer support. It's also a great place to include keywords for your competitors. So, if you're selling some memory card or something or whatever it is, you could actually list, if someone in the question and in the answers, you can actually use their keyword. It's fine to do that. So that may have some kind of benefit as well.
Yeah, the other benefit is that it can continue to reinforce or add on to your marketing message.
Yep.
So, for example, if you're seeing that your competitors, take that little slide advancer, if your competitors are getting some bad reviews saying it falls out of people's hands, then one of the questions could be, hey, does it have a decent grip so it won't fall out of my hand?
Yeah.
Why, yes, it does.
Yep.
And you can kind of celebrate the features and benefits from a question that you can have someone ask.
Yep.
So we're going to have a double benefit there.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we set up this service, which not that many people are using, but it's a good one to use to do this exact same thing. If you're in a competitive marketplace especially, this is one easy way that you can get a small edge.
Every listing that you have should have a couple questions asked and answered.
Yep.
I mean, why not, right?
And if you're not familiar with what this is, Needy Question, it's basically, as a Blueprint Academy member, you can log in, you can say, look, I want someone to ask me this question. I want them to ask, will the remote control slip out of my hand? You tell us what you want to be asked, and then the question gets asked and you can come in and write whatever answer you want. Okay, so that's how it works.
And you'd also be amazed at how many, I'm always shocked by this, how many of your past customers will answer the question.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that people are take the time to, I'm sure everybody's experienced that. And I think it's because they get notified from Amazon that, hey, can you answer this question about a product?
Yeah, it does.
I know I've gotten that notification. Can you answer this question about a product that you bought? And apparently, again, people have a lot of free time.
Well, people like to give their opinion.
People do like to give their opinion.
Yep.
Yep.
Inventory availability, this is an interesting one. But it's not something that we've specifically noticed all that much because we deliberately try to keep stock quite low and then we replenish often. However, a lot of people, I think you've seen it, haven't you, Patrick?
Yeah, definitely made a difference.
So the idea is that if you've got a huge amount of stock available in Amazon, then Amazon will kind of give you a bit more of a boost in the rankings and you'll actually make more sales because Amazon knows you've got a lot of stock there. 150 would likely be a number, but that's different for each product based on the sales velocity and all that stuff. It makes sense that Amazon would push something that they know is not going to run out of stock. So if you've only got 10 units there, Amazon is not really incentivized to give you a top listing because you're just going to run out. So it's worth considering. Michael, do you want to say something?
Does that depend on the price of the product? Because we were just talking, that product costs 200 euros. So you wouldn't put 150 units, whereas a red widget?
But if there's a huge velocity of sales,
right. Depends more on that.
It depends on the velocity of sales. So if there's only one thing being sold per day, then Amazon is not going to expect you to have 1,000 there. But if there's hundreds being sold per day, then you should have thousands, regardless of if it's a really expensive product.
just the fact that Amazon send you an email every day almost when you're running low on stock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indicates that they consider it important.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, again, it's like just common sense where they want to make the most amount of money. So they're going to, but I've been hearing this a lot.
Yeah.
That this, and I've been hearing this 150 number a lot as well, that kind of order of magnitude, 150 units kind of thing. Obviously it's going to be different for everything, but
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot.
On-page keywords. This is a traditional factor that we're all kind of used to, and it undoubtedly is still used for determining relevancy, but the effect it has on your rankings is going to be tiny compared with your click-through rate, for example, or your conversion rate. And yeah, it's out-muscled by click-through rate, conversion rate, but it does help initially, at least for Amazon, to kind of categorize you and say, okay, maybe you should be ranked for such and such. So you can put these keywords in different places. Amazon scans which keywords you use in your listing, and Amazon will actually, the robots will actually index the first line or the first paragraph of your description, but the rest of the description they won't index. More weight is given to a keyword in a prominent position on your page, starting with the title. Romy?
So how do you know that?
Sorry?
As an index.
I think it's.
Find out first part.
I think we were able to like have a look and actually see it.
Yes, I know that Amazon doesn't look at the product description, it doesn't index it, but I didn't know about the functions of sentence.
I can't remember exactly where we got that, but at some point. I mean, I think Amazon have said that they will index or I think you can just see that they index the first section of the description. Yeah. But I don't think it's a huge factor in rankings.
No.
The amount of times you use your keyword does matter. Don't do it too much. It'll have a negative effect. Keywords are probably a bit more like points removed if you don't have them, rather than Amazon saying we're going to give you a big boost because you've got all these keywords. It'd be more likely saying, okay, there's nowhere in this listing that says remote control. It doesn't appear in the listing, so it's probably not a remote control. So it might be more effective removing some of that ranking juice. Lionel?
I've had first-hand experience of this, so my sales were dropping over a 3-month period, just going down. When we were in New York, you and Steve got around and helped me.
Yep.
We changed the pictures, just made the images look better.
Yep.
Java. And we changed the listing, the title, and the keywords in.
Yep.
And the next day, my sales nearly doubled.
Yeah, the way, I mean, my perspective, the keywords are going to tell you are going to drive where Amazon is going to start to show your listing, right? It only makes the most sense. How else would they even figure out, let's say you're a new product where you make an initial change like we did in New York, how else will they figure out where to even begin to start to put you? So you've got to nail that out of the gate, or change it later if you're not ranking for the right thing, and then you start to get some exposure for that keyword, for those search terms. But then it's all about these other things. Okay, well, great, I've shown you, but what's your click-through rate, and how many sales am I going to make, and that's what's going to really drive how you're ranking over time.
Yep. Again, product title, that's the biggest one. If you've got an unknown brand, it's kind of a waste of space putting it in your title. However, Amazon have openly said that your title should say brand, then what the product is. I think it's a bit of a waste of space if no one knows what your brand is anyway. Patrick?
We actually find people are searching the brand name
now that you're established. Yeah.
It takes a while, but
Yep.
it's still us.
Yep. Especially repeat customers.
Yeah. I guess why.
It must be, yeah.
Yep.
Don't stuff the titles. Use your keywords without making the title messy. They need to be clear, concise, and professional. Other title tips: don't make them extremely long. Amazon, I think that's what Amazon said, that 200 characters or less. Play by the rules. This is what Amazon is saying. These are the rules. Do not include price. Do not use all caps. Do not capitalize and or for. read this stuff. It's all on Amazon. Yeah.
In terms of the keywords to use in the titles,
Yep.
shall we always aim for those ones that has the bigger like amount of like searches, or is it I don't know, if I have too many keywords, should I always aim?
It's a mixture between the ones. It's really the ones that are going to make you the most sales. So the search term or the keyword that has the most searches is not always the keyword that's going to make you the most sales. So it's kind of that balancing point, finding that is this keyword, it might not be the most specific, like the most generic keyword may not be specific enough, in which case it might not have the highest conversion rate, but it might be okay because you're just getting so many visitors if you rank for that.
And do you use the Google keyword planner?
No, we don't really.
I actually have a slide on this in the toolbox, but probably the best way to get intelligence is to use the Amazon pay-per-click data.
Yep.
So if you have a new product, and
we're going to be doing an example of this as well.
Yeah, you turn on automatic pay-per-click, then you can get some statistics on not only impressions,
but sales,
but and click-throughs also, and sales. So, but there's no real Lionel's was a great example. It's very, very subjective. You kind of have to look at it. It's almost like trying to solve for multiple unknowns, multiple pieces in an equation. So when you fix one, you have to then move the other, So it's really kind of hard. But at the end of the day, I think common sense prevails. What I like to do is take my best shot at it, and then to make myself feel better about it, I also then make sure that I go back and I see that the main competitors are ranking well for those keywords. That kind of completes the loop for me, because it's like, okay, well, I've done my best job. I've sort of used the data that I can get. I've used common sense, and I think that these are my top 3 keywords that would drive the most sales. Let me now circle back and make sure that my top 2-3 competitors who have these great BSRs and are clearly selling the hell out of this kind of product, let me make sure that they rank on the first page for these 3 keywords. And then you're pretty sure that's really nice closing the loop of, hey, I picked the right keywords.
Yep. And also the other thing, and we're going to talk about this as well, is when we are launching our products, we always try to think of maybe 2, 3, 4 keywords that we care about ranking for, but we don't go after 10 different keywords, at least not initially. So you might say, look, these are my 2 biggest keywords, and you'll include one or both of them in the title if you can. Stephen?
I was just going to say this change in the number of characters, because I had a pretty punchy, long title.
Yep.
And I went in to edit it, and I couldn't edit it. So, like an idiot, I phoned up Amazon Seller Central to get some help, saying, why can't I amend this? And he said, your title and your listing doesn't comply with our terms. So now you've only got 200 characters. I was thinking, shit. But it's not just the title, it was the 5 bullets.
Yeah.
Most of my competitors have got War and Peace in all the bullets, and they said, you've got 140 characters, whatever it is now, and also you have HTML in your description, and you need to strip that out as well. So I went from quite a long competitive title down to something that's so sparse, it's ridiculous. And my conversion rates dropped as a result of complying. So I then had a number of conversations with them saying, come on, this isn't fair. I'm complying with your terms, all my competitors aren't. What can I do about it? And they said, well, we've got a sheet where you can report it, and I've done that, and it's made no difference. So just the warning there, I guess, is just be careful if you can't get in to change your title.
Yep.
If it's a marginal improvement,
it's not worth it.
You're in a niche where everyone's really got it full. Just think carefully before you do something, because you can end up having to, well, I had to. I've since been able to add back HTML into my description, and that hasn't had any impact. But if I've tried to go in again to make a change, I can't.
Yeah.
Did you see a reduction in traffic as well? Because your
I
ratings
did see a
dropped?
reduction. I did see a reduction in traffic. I had a pretty good. I sort of had a 22% sort of conversion rate in sort of sessions per sale.
Yeah.
And that was dropped to 18. So that hurts me.
Yeah. I just want, sorry, I don't remember, but one more thing I want to add, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to say this, and I don't want to forget to say this to everybody here and everybody on the video. Please, 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 make sure that you have a backup of your listings, like exactly the way they look. Yep. Every piece of text, everything. Take a snapshot of it, go into the back office, take a snapshot of that, and make sure you have a backup. That's something that I never even thought of doing, really. Should have. Alan had a problem where he got his account closed temporarily. It was a whole big screw up. All his listings disappeared, and he had to rebuild them. And so if you don't have that backup, so everybody write that down. You've got to do this, because God forbid it happens. Yeah. You don't want to have to reinvent the wheel from scratch.
Yep.
Okay? So please, please, please make it.
You can just take a screenshot.
Just screenshots of, and backup of all your images, everything. And every time you change it, make a backup.
Yep.
So.
Search term box. Again, this is inside Seller Central. This is the keywords you use. Big recommendation here. A lot of you are probably doing it wrong. Use all the space you have available. Don't duplicate keywords. Misspellings are okay to use, but they shouldn't be a big thing. Brand names are not okay. You can probably sneak one in there if you want to. I've got an example of this somewhere else next, so I'll show you that. But it's the 5 search boxes that are inside Seller Central. You should fill them up. Okay. Product descriptions, again, don't stick keyword stuff, writing for humans. Include your keywords in a natural way and make them easily readable. I said at the beginning that no one actually reads them. Amazon have come out and said that. People don't scroll down and read the descriptions. However, some people, a small minority, will, especially if your product is more expensive. We like to break them into paragraphs and use bullet points, but again, it's really a tiny difference that's actually going to make. But I'll show you exactly how we do it and give you an example in the next section here. Keywords and customer reviews, harder to control over the long term, but you'd expect that Amazon do monitor this somewhat, and if they're not doing it now, they probably will in the future for relevance and all that good stuff. The best approach for reviews is to focus on quality, not quantity, and again, it's only something you can really manipulate on a small level in the scheme of things. Outside traffic sources, non-Amazon traffic, it's easy for Amazon to track this. They will be monitoring if you're getting traffic from other places. The bottom line is that the sales that external traffic result in, that's what Amazon cares about, not the traffic that comes in. Okay? And Amazon gets paid when you get paid, so outside traffic is a bonus to Amazon. One of the workshops we're going to be doing today is showing you how to drive lots of traffic from Facebook direct to your Amazon listings. So we'll talk more about this and if it makes sense. And then the last thing is seller account authority. So this is, we haven't had a huge look at this, but it would make sense that Amazon takes into consideration how long you've had your account, how many sales in your account you've done, the standing of your account, and so on. Now there's one other thing we've made available here. Is this one here. So we've made this, it's available in the members area, it should be in there now. It's Amazon, obviously, along with the presentation slides we've just had. This is an Amazon ranking factors checklist. It covers all the 26 factors, the 9 main groups. It's basically a summary of everything I've just said. So this is a 6-page document. When you're going through and looking at how you can improve, you might want to refer to this, have it there as your sort of check sheet. Go through and say, okay, what's the quantity of my rankings, of my reviews? What about the product image? Is it, fulfilling these kind of best practices? Product title, conversion rate, your sales history, everything we've just been through, this is basically a little checklist that you can use, and that's already available in the members area in the London section, I think. So you'll have that there as well. So has everyone picked up something new that they can apply to their listings? Yep, cool. So we're going for morning tea now. I believe there's some little sandwiches and things like that back there. So we'll take a break.
Yeah, we're going to do a 30-minute break.